Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another Quips and Thwips on NerdTube. We are running with the typical Parker luck here. We're always running late.
That's it, man. That's it. And no other
I
way to
am,
run.
yeah, I am joined, of course, by my normal compatriot in arms on this program, V Man.
What's up,
We
man?
are building up to the final countdown of No Way Home. I have my tickets for Thursday. I'm gonna see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I
gonna
think
see it.
Drew. I think Drew got his or got our tickets for a Sunday matinee. It's either noon or 3:30. It's something like that. We just had to decide a time. Yeah, it's good. Like it's free and clear, so it's not any of that clusterfuck of when are we getting the tickets? Oh my god! Like everyone's stabbing their mother to get the ticket. So yeah, it's we're good. We're set.
I just FYI, I did stab my mother to get these tickets. So
Well, the police will be after you soon when we end the show early because they're knocking on your door. That's where you've gone. So it's all good. It's all good.
knock, knock, knocking on Cheeto's door.
Well, hopefully she didn't go the way of Uncle Ben. So it's otherwise you're gonna have a spider Cheeto swinging through the city. It's quite disturbing.
Da-da-da. So anyway, so we're basically here talking about
Our
you know
wants and needs.
wants and needs. So about No Way Home, and I'm gonna start off by just saying I need Toby Maguire to die. Period. I mean, Raimi versus Spider-Man, not Toby Maguire himself. Maybe.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Now, if that happens, they do have the Marvel zombie verse. So what a way to bring him back. So hey, go for it. Well, we already know that CBS listens to me. Why not MCU? Hey, I work for free. I make fan films. I've already got the big money, baby.
Oh, is that what they call it? Is that why they call you no budget?
It's called poverty, baby. It's all good. Throw me a corn chip, I'm yours, baby. It's all good.
Corn
It's
chip.
all good.
I'm gonna give you a Frito. How about that?
Oh, hey, I don't take that. I don't take that name brand stuff.
Oh,
Corn
my
chip,
bad.
corn chip,
Corn chip. Pork rind.
corn. So you're at this point. Are we certain that Toby and Andrew are coming to this film? To me, I think 100%, 100%. What are your thoughts?
I really think that I really think that well, okay, first and foremost, I've said it the whole time that after that whole image of Lizard getting punched by an invisible person came out, I always said, wouldn't it have been the shit if that was Venom? Like everybody's making like all of this big deal about it being another Spider-Man kicking him or punching him or whatever in that big come together, and the Lizard's head kind of goes like this. I'm like that would be hilarious if it was Venom. Like this movie just set up the team up between Spider-Man and Venom. It wasn't even like the Maguire and Garfield aren't even coming. Now I'm pretty sure that there's been enough behind the scene photos that have leaked and stuff like that that we're pretty sure they're in this movie. 99,000% sure. But I would still that scene in particular, if that turns out to be Venom punching Lizard, I will completely mark out and just
See, I hope we're both wrong in that regard. I got to think about that today. I was like, wouldn't it be the shit if it's not either Toby or Andrew or Venom? Wouldn't it be even better if all of our expectations are blown away and it's Gwen Stacy and MJ in that scene with Peter from what do you mean no?
no.
What do you what are
No.
you talking? What are you talking? You wouldn't
Just
want to see Kirsten
just
Dunst
I was about
in
to
that
say,
same.
just for that, I hope it's Kirsten Dunst. You.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah, Kirsten Dunst and
Emma
the,
Stone, who's dead.
yeah, I was about to say blonde, big eyed. I can't think of her name. Yeah, Emma Stone. Yeah,
No, she's
um,
dead. She's
but it's
dead.
okay. So is Norman Osborn. But they're doing.
Yeah, well, they're dead. Just stop. Just stop.
Dude, I'm
No, it's going
creating
to be
some good
Bryce.
fan fiction here, bud.
It's going to be Bryce Dallas Howard. That's who it's going to be from Spider-Man 3.
We need both Emma Stone, or we need both Gwen Stacy's, dude. The power of the Gwens. They're like Wonder Twin power in this shit. Hell yeah, that's what I want. Both Gwen Stacy's. Do that, yes. And then they got magic rings, and it's that's my wants and needs for this. That.
No, you are a much simpler man than I. I
No,
I will not settle for anything less than Morbius punching Lizard.
that's why he's invisible in the thing, because he doesn't
Yeah,
show it like.
it's all done in a mirror, so you don't see the vampire's reflection, so that's why.
It would well, I guess it would make CGI a little better. So okay, so all serious.
Oh crap. Okay.
So all serious. What are you? Because everybody has. If Andrew's not in this movie, fuck this movie. If Toby's not in this movie's shit. And it's like we've seen so much, and I'm personally glad that they're not dropping Andrew and Toby into the trailers. I don't think we need it, because it's one of those things where it's like back in the day, we saw a teaser trailer and then one trailer and that was it, and then you got the movie and that was, and I think it's great that they're not showing us what we really want to see, because to me it's kind of like back when I was like in fourth grade and I'm spanking it to the JCPenney catalog. Like I still don't see anything, but I'm getting what I want. That's kind of this right here, dude. It's a JCPenney catalog. It's great because it's leading me right up there and then giving it to me. Do you agree? Is this JCPenney?
This is not JCPenney. I never spanked into the JCPenney catalog, but
No.
no.
See, I'm just trying to incriminate even more for you. So it's.
No, I mean, really, what I want from this movie is I wanted, and you know what I've said this entire time. See, this is the disadvantage of you having to spend the last 3 weeks with me doing this program, is because I really just want a Spider-Man movie that feels like Spider-Man's the main focus. MCU Spider-Man, because we haven't gotten that, and everybody knows I've said that a million gajillion times. Everybody's sick of hearing it, but I'm going to say it one more time because this is the last time we're doing this before the movie comes out, and I really do want.
We hope.
We hope. What?
Dude, if something else Cataclysm comes out, you sure you're not going to be like, V-Man, we got to do something. This dropped.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I mean, maybe like all of a sudden they release the next slate of Spider-Man movies. They say next one's called The Sensational Spider-Man. The next one is called Spider-Man Web of Shadows. The following one is called The Ultimate Spider-Man.
Or if they say something like, look, the next Spider-Man villain is Cheeto stabbing his mom over some movie tickets. Like you're not going to say, hey, V-Man, we got to talk about this. Like I'll
be in my jail cell. That's what
I would brave my broken internet for you for that one. That's I would move outside my internet zone and be like, all right, my internet's stable today. Let's talk, Cheeto. Before they give you chafed wrists on that one, let's go talk. So
but yeah, I mean, I want this movie to feel more Spider-Man centric. And I think it will. The only problem is that I see with this one is that it might be a little bit more focused. As I said before, these are very borrowed villains. I mean, the only thing that it could be is I mean, if we see like the Vulture and Mysterio in the movie now, I mean, I guess they would more be now Spider-Man villains because they've been in a movie before. I would almost guarantee that we would see Vulture at least for at least a cameo, but I feel like we should see Vulture for more.
I don't think personally. I don't feel that Mysterio's dead.
Oh yeah, no, he's not. That's his whole shtick. Is the master of illusion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal is such a big actor. You got to have Donnie Darko come back, especially for something like this, and we know that Michael Keaton showing up in uh, Morbius. Or I'm talking Mysterio. Mysterio. I don't think Mysterio's dead.
Yeah,
Um,
you said that.
okay, I was for some reason I got Morbius and Mysterio crossed off in my head.
No,
Like yeah,
you said Mysterio. You don't think and if anyone thought
yeah,
otherwise, I mean, you did say Jake Gyllenhaal. So if they don't know that, then they're
okay,
pretty
yeah,
stupid.
yeah. Yeah. Again, I keep getting those two, and so like that's I think it would be foolhardy to not use that character. I'm with this runtime of the movie being so long. I feel like you're gonna get your wish of it being Tom's movie, and I do feel like I know from what the rumors say. I think Tom and Andrew were supposed to be 30 minutes of this film. So that being said, that's only like I think maybe like an eighth of the film, or maybe a seventh of the film. Like a relatively small part of it. That mixed with the even with all the chaos around him, with all these other ones, I still feel like this is going to set up, and build and have it be his film, even with all these other elements. Because again, Spider-Man is always, um, especially this one is he's in, this is definitely an out of his element type film. Especially with universes crossing over, all these other things popping into this. Like this is the one time where I can kind of get away with, or I can forgive this being, this isn't Tom's, this isn't going to center on Tom. But I do feel by the end of it, this is going to set up, okay, this is Tom's going forward. This is Tom's rules. This is Tom's universe. This is the direction we're going, and no more leaning on other shit that we're doing. Because I agree with you. Like it's been Iron Man's world, and then it's been Shield and all this other stuff. Like let it be simply Spider-Man. Like I'd love to see Venom show up at the end. Like again, rumor has it. I'd love to see that. Let Venom show up, because I mean that's kind of what we want at this point. Let it be Venom, because Venom's had no big enemy, and as far as we know, who's going to fight in his own movie coming up? Nobody.
Who,
You know?
Venom?
Yeah. Who's it going to fight in the next one? So to
Vance
me, it would.
Major.
What's that now?
Vance Major. That's who he's gonna fight in the next movie.
Dude, so you got Spider-Man and I got dude. Talk about a crossover. At some point, then you and I are going to have to clash up.
Look, I'm taking on Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. All I'm gonna do is like shoot Uncle Ben and watch him cry.
There you go, man. There you go.
You know what all of this is really setting up for, though?
What's that?
That Aunt May movie you've been talking about.
Well, it's funny because I saw an article on Google, and no shit, my mind actually, like, I really was like, man, I wish Cheeto was here, because he'd get my fucking joke, and I hate that because my mind, like, my mind really think, like, she said in the article, nobody gives a shit that I'm in these Marvel movies, and my mind was like, well, that's because you're not that old hot Aunt May, and I couldn't tell anybody the joke, and I was like, fuck, man, why did wasted a good joke,
Wait, that
so
Marissa Tomei said that?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was an article because it popped up on my Google. Like again, I don't even know why, because I've never Googled her for any reason. I don't talk about her. I don't think about. Well, no, I can't say that. I do think about her, but Oh my God, get out, guys. Go.
It's the puppy invasion.
Those dogs. Bless their heart.
They said, "Oh, Dad's talking to that douche. I'm out." But
They're
no,
not a fan of you, Tito. They're like,
huh?
nerd tube. Never heard of it. I'm leaving. That's what it
Never
was.
heard of it. Yeah, man, I haven't even heard of it. What are you talking about?
You're like, what? I'm not a subscriber.
Okay, so no, but what I really think this movie is setting up is, I got the yawns.
I'll be right back. And
Okay.
keep talking though. I'm listening.
I know you are. You're always listening. Um, So anyway, what I really feel like this movie is setting up is it's going to be a Sinister Six movie. So if we don't see a lot of Vulture and Mysterio in this movie, I still feel like they're setting up a Sinister Six movie, whether it be a multiversal Sinister Six. So because I mean, think about that movie. Like think about that movie, right? For a hot second. Alfred Molina, uh, uh, Thomas Hayden Church, Jamie Foxx. Who else is in that group?
The guy who did the lizard.
Oh, I don't care about him. I hope he dies. Uh, um,
Will the Green Goblin.
no, we don't want the Green Goblin in there. Green Goblin's not a Sinister Six guy. No, we can't do the Green Goblin's his own thing.
Ned.
Oh, Hobgoblin, very good. So Ned leads Hobgoblin, and then you add in Michael Keaton's
Yep.
Vulture and Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. I'd watch the hell out of that movie. I don't care if
Yep.
Spider-Man's in it or not.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty dark movie.
Yeah, but I mean, those are big name actors. You get all them on
Mhm.
a screen, and I mean, and
You-
I think we've
You've
talked
got the
about this before
you've
on
got the
here about
equivalent.
making it more of like they made Infinity War Thanos' movie. They make this like the Sinister Sixes movie.
Yeah, well, it'd be the equivalent of like the Suicide Squad for DC. Except in their own way. 'Cause, I mean, Suicide Squad was, kind of their own thing, and it was the anti-hero, the anti. I mean, you have the thing about it is like it. You take the villain element out, like these characters aren't just. I mean, they're villains, yes, but they're sympathetic. I mean, they're sympathetic on so many ways. Doc Ock isn't. I mean, yes, he does bad things, but he's also relatable. Same thing with Mysterio. Same thing with Sandman. Oh,
Honestly, I see your point on Doc Ock and Sandman. Even Jamie Foxx to a certain like the way his character was set up to a certain level. Uh, uh, Mysterio and Vulture, I don't see that. I see them being full on villains at this point because I mean, let's be real. I mean, the Vulture killed a dude. He just vaporized a dude, like the first Shocker. Like
it happens.
it happens. Yeah, oopsie. I mean, I'm not saying they're evil, but I'm just saying like they're full on villains. Like they are bad guys.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's. I mean, he was willing to kill how many people just to put on a show. The only ones that I can't, as I said, the only ones I can't sympathize with is probably Doc Ock, maybe Kurt Connors, just because of how that whole thing mapped out. But as soon as he started like, I'm going to turn everybody into lizards like me, then I was kind of like, all right, I'm out.
No, I that is the. It's really sad, dude. That I'd rather take a guy who vaporized everyone, or went after everyone for a fucking show, than I would a guy who's like, let me turn you into a lizard. Like, I'm really
Mhm.
into those Geico commercials. Like, so here's my plan. Like, I don't like. I hate that dude. I hate him. But I'd rather take the guy who's like, well, I'm really into Shakespeare, so let me blow you up. All right, I'll go with you. Like, that's really sad, dude. That I relate more to that guy, and I'm like, yeah, I dig that guy. Let me take Fishbowl. Let me take that guy.
No, no, no. He's a douche nozzle. Nope. Um, but and Electro's the only one that's kind of hazy territory. Like he was a bit misunderstood and beaten up as a character, not physically, but as a character, and physically as well. But like him turning and then what happened? Like Max Dillon's story was always a bit of a tragedy, just because at first he couldn't control his powers and everything like that, but then he became a criminal, and it just depends on. And I mean, let's be real. Ock robbed a bank. I mean, you bad guy. That's bad guy 101. Rob a bank. And he kidnapped Aunt May, your waifu.
Stay the fuck away from Aunt May, Doc.
So yeah, all these people are bad on some kind of level. But the problem with with your Suicide Squad comment, though, I have to disagree, is just because in the Suicide Squad movie, uh, there is a backdrop of compliance, because they have the bombs in their back of their neck. So like if they don't do what they're supposed to do, good, bad, or indifferent, they get their heads blown off. Whereas
No,
what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the Sinister Six coming together and the Sinister Six plotting something out, and then either A, it goes sideways, or B, it leads into the next Spider-Man movie.
well, but to be fair though, but you haven't even taken into account though Will Smith. Will Smith didn't even have the implant in his neck, and he did After Earth, and that was pretty fucking sinister. So, no.
What?
Yeah.
We're talking about Suicide Squad. Stop it.
I know. I know.
Stop it. I can't with you. I can't with you on most days. All right. So, yeah. So what's?
So for me, I like honestly, I think going into this movie, man, my expectations are really low, just because one, the runtime is so super high, and I know that they have so much to cover. But I mean, when you have, you figure Doc Ock has got to have a storyline. You figure, Sandman has got to, even though he's not even spoken a word in the trailer. Neither has Lizard. Nobody's spoken except for, I think a line or two from Green Goblin and a laugh. A couple lines from Doc Ock. But just those guys. And everything's coming through. I mean, this movie is packed to the
Electro's
front.
had a line or two.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just want to know how he got hair.
That is, wow.
I know we could use those pointers.
Dude, I've given up long ago. That's why I just wear hats. I'm like, everyone thinks I have hair. No. If I ever have an action figure about me, you better come with a hat, because it's,
non-removable hat.
That yes. In fact, I feel like gluing my hat to my head. I shower with my hat on sometimes. That's
wow.
Yeah, that's how bad it gets. Sometimes I shower. What's that?
I was thinking about it the other day. I was wondering if Funko Pop, and I know this is totally off topic, but we were always talking. I love those Funko Pops, and I was wondering if I could get like a base model or something like that, and like if Funko Pop would make a Menard Funko Pop action figure.
I actually can't talk about. Dang it! I wish I could tell you.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave us all in suspense. Thanks a lot. Okay, so anyway, back on topic. What were you saying? I don't even remember now.
I don't know. My mind keeps drifting to Aunt May.
Rabbit Trail of the podcast.
Whenever Doc Ock has her, I'm like, shh, I got you, May. Like it's, we've been in this like 23 minutes, and I feel like we've only talked about the topic for like 3. Everyone tuning in's like, why the fuck are we here? I wasted my Saturday night for this. Damn it. Hey, subscribe to Nerd. This is why you've never heard of NerdTube. He keeps having me come on and help.
Oh, no. Trust me. We make our own shenanigans where we don't get subs. Trust me.
Oh, okay. Right on. No, like I said, my expectations are so low because I know there's so much in here, and I feel like if I put the demands that everyone else has, I'm gonna be mad or angry, or it's kind of like, did you watch Masters of the Universe Revelation?
Part 1. I have not gotten to part 2 yet. I actually need to get to that.
What did you think of part 1? Because I feel like that'll inform. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just keep in mind I am also not a Masters of the Universe fan. Like I didn't watch He-Man growing up. I had some of the toys, but I never sat down and watched He-Man on the boob tube, with the tube TV and everything. Like I never did that. Like I knew of He-Man, but I was never like watching a ton of it. So I don't have a huge basis to go off of. Mm-hmm. I thought that the part 1 was good. I mean, did it blow my mind? Did it make me want to like watch more He-Man? Maybe, but I really felt like it was. I know I'm dragging out this point that you're trying to make.
No, I know.
And so I do want to watch part two and get around to it. But you know, it was very interesting to watch because they delved into the lore a little bit, and I don't
Yeah.
know anything about that lore. So anyway, go back to your point though.
No, I don't mind going down. Dude, you've seen my shit on my channel. Like I delve down rabbit trails. I'll do a 5 minute video and stretch that shit for like an hour and a half. I don't mind. So there was a lot of controversy surrounding Masters of the Universe Revelation, and a lot of that was the hoopla of Kevin Smith. He says he was watching ever since 1981, big fan of it, since the very beginning. Masters of the Universe didn't come out till I think 83, the toy. The filmation didn't come out, I think, till like 86, something like that. If I got my dates right. I might even be wrong on my dates. And there's screen caps of Kevin Smith on Twitter saying he was not a fan of He-Man, and this is from like 2013. Here and I mean, people just lost their fucking minds over this shit. And then he was saying that it wasn't going to be a story about Tila. This was definitely a He-Man story. People, they shouldn't say it. And then when you watch part one, it's very heavy influenced on Tila, and it's a story. I'm looking at it going, well, this is. I mean, you have to look at the big story. I had no problem with the story they were telling because when you watch the old cartoon, there was a story about Tila that was never delved into. So watching this, I'm like, I got no problem with this because this is continuing the He-Man storyline, like you were talking about, the lore.
Mhm.
And I had no problem with the story that they were telling because having made films of my own, you want to focus on more than just one fucking character. And I feel like if you had just focused on He-Man and Skeletor, then it would be like people would complain this is more of the same. So you want to do something a little bit different, but something that expands and extends into the mythology. So I enjoyed it for what it was. But I feel like Masters of the Universe Revelation got a lot of negative press and negative, because of the BS that was behind, Kevin Smith's, Kevin Smith. Even though I enjoy the content he used to do, I feel like sometimes he kind of gets in his own way, and that's where I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home. I feel like that's kind of the thing here. People are building this up and building this up and building this up, and they're hyping themselves up. And then when it doesn't lead to what they expect the movie to be, they might be disappointed. So for me, like I had no expectations going into Masters of the Universe Revelation, and I enjoyed it just fine. Um, because I can't watch the old cartoons. I watch them and I'm like, I'm fucking bored. I mean, they're great for Royce, and I'll watch them with him because I'm living vicariously through him and I can enjoy it through nostalgia. But if I just sit there and watch one of them or two or three of them, I'm like, dude, no, this I can't do this. It doesn't hold up for me. But No Way Home, I feel like some people are building this up in their head more than they are. So I think going in with no expectations rather than super hyping everything in your head and just gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Like, no, just chill out and enjoy it for what it is. Go in with a big tub of popcorn that you may not be eating at the moment. You shouldn't be eating, but you go in anyway. Go in with a big gulp and just enjoy yourself. Forget about your life for 2 hours or 3 hours, however, 2 hours, 20 minutes, I think. Just go enjoy yourself. And that's what I think a movie ultimately should be. Just enjoy yourself. Even if it's a piece of shit movie. Fuck, man, enjoy yourself. It's only like what, $10 to get in, $13 to get in? Fuck, man, enjoy yourself. So that for me, I hope Toby's there. I hope Andrew's there. But if they're not, okay. My world didn't end before. It's not going to end after. So, yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah. I mean, um, I don't know. I mean, I see what you're getting there, and I mean, the Masters of the Revolution, Masters of the Universe Revelation. I see it. What you're saying there. Because I mean, I'm one of those people that are like, if I'm not going to say something unless like I mean it and like I commit to it. Like so if someone came to me and say I become a big timer and they say, "Hey, we're doing the Thor Ragnarok 10-year anniversary. We want you to go and plug it." I'd be that like, "No, I hated Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a it wasn't a bad film, but it was a garbage Thor film." So like I can't support it. So I mean, with Kevin Smith, it's like, him going and people, just stick to your guns, like
Yeah.
literally, like stick to them, like
See,
yeah,
and that's the thing with Kevin's. Like when he was younger, like I don't like I would recommend anyone if you ever want to see a good a good like a guy doing just commentary on his experiences and just experience of things in general through Hollywood and independent film. I would say go look up on YouTube or buy the DVD An Evening with Kevin Smith. That was so it was so influential to me on how I look at things and perceive them on filmmaking and the life behind the camera and just that thing, that whole thing in general. But it was entertaining, it was funny, and that's who I love to look at Kevin Smith as. Sadly, people change as they get older. I know he had a near death experience or he almost died. And that's got to change your frame of mind. And I don't feel like he's the same person that he used to be. Um, that being said, it's one thing to say, I hated He-Man. I didn't like it growing up, but you know what? They offered me the job. I delved into it, and I've learned to appreciate it. And I've said plenty of times, I fucking hated the original series of Star Trek. I hated it growing up. I don't like it. Not one fucking bit. But the first time I walked on the bridge, I got goosebumps. I started looking at the buttons, seeing the shit in real fucking space. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm here. I felt like I could fly off the planet because it's like, dude, you're on the bridge, a full 360 bridge. You get immersed in that world, and it was cool as fuck. Like it is awesome. And when they offered me the part, I immersed myself in that world. And even though it wasn't my Trek, I got an appreciation for it. And I feel like that would be appropriate for him. For him to just bald face say, "Oh, I always loved it." Well, dude, I don't think that's true. And I feel like he has a problem with backtracking things.
yeah,
And for people who nitpick on dates, dude, people mistake dates all the time.
yeah.
And I think some people we live in the day of people nitpicking, um, which I think is just not fair. But going back to No Way Home,
Wait,
I'm
that's what we're talking
excited.
about,
Yeah, people are like, wait, I thought there was a He-Man podcast.
right?
I'm really excited to the fact that we get to see these villains. And that's like saying that, like the Flash film that's coming up in March with Ezra Miller or whatnot. Like Michael Keaton's coming back in that. Who would have ever thought we'd see that? Those things.
I was no, I was thoroughly convinced that we would get a Batman Beyond movie and Michael
Mm,
Keaton would play like so.
mhm.
I'm not joshing you on that one. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I was always convinced that if they ever did a Batman Beyond movie, that
We would
Michael
get that. Yes.
Keaton would come back to be Bruce Wayne, the older Bruce Wayne.
He'd be
But
the only one. Yeah. No, he would be the only one that would be appropriate because he was the one in the beginning that start. Yeah, no. And he would be the only one appropriate for that. I still think we will get some type of, especially with him mentoring. And then when it's time for him to finally pass that torch, he'd be the only one to do it because he doesn't have a Robin. There's nobody really there. It would be appropriate for when he finally does that. No,
what are you
it
talking
really would.
about? There was one in Batman Forever.
Yes, yes, there was. And Chris O'Donnell did an awesome job. Don't hate on Chris O'Donnell, Robin.
Actually, I think he would have made a better Nightwing.
Dude, check this out. Dude, he was awesome, dude. Like, check this. Do you see Robin?
Oh boy.
Yes. Yes. Is this showing? Yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yes. I love Chris O'Donnell, Robin. Everyone gives him shit. No, he is awesome, baby. He is awesome.
I don't have a problem with Chris O'Donnell as an actor. I have a problem with Chris O'Donnell as he's being used in that movie.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a grown man adopting another 20-year-old man and then putting him in red, large codpiece costumes and saying, "Let's go around town, baby."
With Robin nipples on it.
Hey, it's no problem. By the way, I've got a costume for you, Cheeto. Come on over whenever you're ready.
I don't know where to go from that. Anyway, so back to No Way Home.
But no, like how cool, it is cool that we're actually getting those villains because that's like taking a Joel Schumacher film, like they're kind of doing with the Flash one, and taking all those Joel Schumacher films, saying, "Hey, here's Tommy Lee Jones as, you know, Two-Face. Here's Jack Nicholson as Joker. Here's Riddler again. Like, here's all those things in a Batman movie. Let's do that again. And you know,
Are they
with
doing that in that Flash movie? I
oh
didn't.
no, oh
Oh,
no, no. But I mean, it's like saying let's take your childhood and relive it. You know, and that's, you know, to me that's kind of what they're doing in the you know, with Michael Keaton, like a remnants of that with Michael Keaton coming back. Like, we're reliving so much of our childhood. So again, how I'm not going to be disappointed, because it's like I never thought I'd see William Dafoe in that but ugly Green Goblin costume. To me, it's like, man, I'll take it. I'll
did you
take it.
did you see the interview when they were talking about the villain costumes and you know,
Yep,
they're like,
yep,
you know, like William Dafoe was like, "Oh, I'm just so glad that I didn't have to wear that stupid outfit again."
yep,
Like he's like technology's come so far. You people
yep.
don't realize how you know, and then Alfred Molina was talking about how like, you know, how
Robotic
the
arms.
yeah, the Ock arm harness and stuff like that. And it just he's like, "Oh, it's terrible." Now I
And now
just
it's
walk
CGI.
around with yeah, now it's all CGI, which is fantastic and I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
no, and I like how Jamie Foxx kept referring. You know, he just kept going back to not being blue. Like
yeah,
that
Jamie
was
Foxx is
one.
like, yeah, he's like, "Hey, I just don't want to be blue."
That's
And I agree. I'm so happy he's not blue.
like I love like the chemistry between those three. It was just like you could tell, like, two living legends, and then Jamie Foxx is just like, ah, dude, I'm here. It's cool. It's and he knows his place. He's like, nah, dude, it's chill. I'm cool. It's, you know,
I see,
I
but here's the
love.
thing. Okay, Jamie Foxx may not be a living legend, but he's still a pretty good actor. I like Jamie Foxx in a lot of things.
No, I feel like I feel like he's on that cal. Like I I feel like he's on that. I still feel like, I mean, he's not aged with that experience, but I feel like he's on that caliber. You know, because he's played some. I mean, for the longest time, he was just known as that kind of in living color guy, you know, that comedian. But dude, he has played some extreme fucking roles. He
He
is
was really good in
good.
Collateral. You ever see
Yes,
Collateral?
yes,
Yeah, I liked him in Collateral. I thought him and Tom Cruise were great.
yeah, yeah. No, he's great. Like, so again, like, he may not be as old as the other two, but he's on that level, you know. But anyway, but no, I think it's great. I mean, fucking Sandman, one of the most underrated villains in the Spider-Man universe.
I agree. I feel like
Man, you're
he got screwed. In my opinion, he got
yes.
screwed worse than Venom in that movie, only because that they Sandman had more potential in that movie than
We
Venom
liked,
even did.
yeah, we liked him.
I know. I loved him. There were so many good scenes in that movie with him.
Mhm.
The armored truck scene, the subway fight scene. I felt like he at the end when he gets kind of relegated to like a big a kaiju monster. I was kind of meh, but you know, still.
What got me, I really liked the scenes with his daughter, like the fact that he was relatable. He was doing everything for his daughter. He was very relatable as a character. You know, he wasn't trying to be a villain. He wasn't trying to be the bad guy. He really was sympathetic. Um, and that's ultimately what the movie needed. It didn't need Venom in that movie. It didn't need any of that shit, you know. And the fact that we're getting this back, um, I look forward to seeing where that story goes. And the
I was
fact,
about to
like,
say, so then why is he with these villains? Like
well,
let's theorize here for a minute. So we're on the topic of Sandman because I did think it was weird that he was with these guys. So
well,
at the end of Spider-Man 3, you know, Sandman is somewhat redeemed where he makes his peace with Peter Parker and he knows he's Peter Parker and then he dusts off into, you know, like with Thanos, you know, he dusts off into the sunset or the sunrise or whatever it was. So like what would put Sandman and Sandman in the comic books has always been a back and forth character. He's been a villain, a hero, an anti-hero, back and forth. Good morning. Good morning, Zamir.
what's up, man?
I'm glad you are messaging us from Tahiti where you're taking your vacation. Maybe Santa Claus can join us one of these days here on this podcast. But anyway, so Sandman's been redeemed. Like he's one of the few villains, and I thought it was funny that they um I thought it was funny that they're saying that all of these villains are meant to die
Yeah.
fighting Spider-Man. Sandman didn't die fighting Spider. Neither did Lizard. Technically, Lizard went to jail. Go ahead.
I don't think they're talking about Spider-Man in their time. I think they're talking about Spider-Man here.
What?
I don't know. Like I think that phrase I think how they're phrasing everything, because again, like look at everything they're doing. They're very tight-lipped on how they're phrasing everything and what they're doing. And again, like they've already changed the way they released it, because at first the way, if you look at the first time they released the trailer, Doctor Strange says, when you released, when basically blaming Peter, you fucked this spell up, and now everything's coming through. And now he doesn't say that. He says when this spell was done, everything started coming through. So they changed the wording. So I think it's a throw off. I don't think it's really what's said in the film. I would say that they feel that this Peter Parker is meant to kill them, not their Peter Parkers. Because again, when you look at their Peter Parker, Norman Osborn is trying to, from what it looks like to me, it looks like he's trying to tempt Peter, saying, "Hey, you can have your cake and eat it too. You either grab power or you don't. You've got all this stuff right here. Take it or don't." I think he's doing the same shit he did with his Peter, trying to tempt him, trying to get him to power. You lost the first time, but you've got another Peter to start with? Oh, dude, that's another grab of power. And you've got technology of Stark? Fuck yes. But man, he would love that. So I don't think he's trying to, I think each one of them has their own different motives. So I think throughout the whole film, you've got characters with different motivations that at the end will, yes, come together. But I don't think they're working together in this film necessarily. Doc Ock, I think, will help Peter. I don't think he's trying to stop him at all.
Well, there is a scene in the trailer where it shows Doc Ock getting knocked off the scaffolding, and it looks like Electro is the one knocking him off.
Yeah.
So I'm 99% sure that Doc Ock will be helping Spider-Man in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like. Let me preface it this way. I don't feel like this is a sinister, like the Sinister Six are not in this movie.
Right.
This is just a Spider-Man movie with a fuck ton of previously used villains.
But I
feel like some of them will come together, and there will be battle lines drawn. I feel like that it's going to be, if the other Spider-Men are in this, I feel like it's going to be Ock, Spider-Man, well, Toby, Andrew, and Tom. And I feel like they're going to be facing off against Goblin, Sandman, Lizard, and Electro. Like, I feel like it's going to be like a 4-on-4 rather than it being a 3-on-6 or whatever. And who knows how Doctor Strange is going to fit into all of this. The other thing is that we have not seen the Sandman in corporeal form.
Right.
So I haven't heard any rumblings about the actor coming back and filming scenes. So I hope he's not just like this sand thing, for the entire movie, because that would be a huge disservice to that Sandman, because he was so good in 3.
Well, the thing about Sandman is it wasn't the sand form that I cared about. It was the human form.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He needs to be back.
Yeah. And the same thing with the Lizard. I don't think that guy filmed anything, not that I know. But then again, this film has been so heavily guarded on everything. I don't think we really would know. And I mean, it's the same thing if you go to, oh shoot, who was it? I forget which film it was. It might have been Endgame or something, but like they each filmed a death scene, where each one of them dies. So then not even they knew which one was going to die in the movie. And I forget which movie it was, but I remember thinking when I read that at the time, oh, that's fucked up. I mean,
oh, you're talking about, Endgame. Yeah, they filmed several different scenes, but I mean, Robert Downey knew he was going to die, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to die at the end of Endgame. He wanted to go out with a big bang. But I think they did. No, it was Infinity War, because they had, I think in Infinity War, they had everybody shoot dusting scenes. Like everybody did. So like they were just like, so nobody knew what was going on. And, especially Tom Holland, because he can't keep his mouth shut back then. He was basically saying, like, after the movie came out, he said, yeah, like he's like, they didn't really tell me what was happening. They just said you're going where? Like he had no idea. So it's like, I'm sure that in Infinity War some of the bigger actors knew because they knew how to, not say anything. But
See, I think in this movie, I could be wrong, but I feel like this. I feel like when they say like these characters are all meant to die at the hands of Spider-Man, I don't think they're talking about I don't think they're talking about uh like I don't think they're talking about like Norman's meant to die at Tobey Maguire, Electro's meant to die at the hands of Andrew Garfield, Doc Ock's meant to die at Tobey Maguire, Sandman's meant to die at Tobey. Like I don't think he's meaning that. I think he's meaning like, look, we've got to separate these universes again and send these people back. But sending them back means like their universe gets destroyed. Like so, sending them back is a death sentence. And I feel like they know that, and they don't want to go back. And I feel like that's where Andrew's like, or that's where Tom is like, I don't really know. Like, there's no way to win, and that's where the other two show up and are like, look, we'll help you. Like, it's kind of a death sentence for all of us. Like, but we've got to do it. Like, we don't belong here. Like, I feel like that's kind of the only way to win, and I feel like that makes the most amount of sense. But that's kind of the way you can have your cake and eat it too.
I don't. If they do go that way, I'm not going to be that thrilled. I mean, I see where you're coming with that, where you're coming at with that, but I don't know. I feel like that it's just like, why are their universes being destroyed? Like I could see why Goblin and Ock and Electro don't want to go back because they did die. Like they did die in their respective universes. So maybe them going back means that they will die. But as I said, Lizard didn't die. Thomas Hayden Church of Sandman didn't die. Doc Ock did die, but I feel like I think he's going to do what you're saying, is saying it's for the greater good. We need to put everything back in place.
Well, one thing, because we do know that we have Multiverse of Madness coming up. We also have Loki. The new season, will eventually come, and it will be dealing with these timelines, being wiped out and crossed out and whatnot. So we have to remember that not only does this movie deal with what's going on now, and possible flow of time and timelines and whatnot, because the one thing Tom says is, "Whoa, the multiverse is real." So we do have to understand, like, this is just a drop in the bucket of a huge plethora of films that are dealing with this subject. So this isn't just one film. So we're looking at villains that are in these universes that may be getting wiped out. Maybe these villains are coming through here because their universes are getting wiped out. So sending them back might be, they're trying to escape that, and going back would be they are getting wiped out. But maybe them being here is what's throwing this universe off balance. Like maybe these universes are getting thrown off balance for some reason. We really don't know what's going on with the entire multiverse that we saw at the end of Loki. With everything just getting all clusterfucked. And that's one of the beautiful things of looking at these things and wonder, pondering the what if. No pun intended for the series. Zam says, I think we're going to get a scenario or three that will make no fucking sense. Well,
I think Zam is basically saying our theories don't make any sense, is basically, I think, what he's saying.
Yeah.
Or he's saying that we're going to get a third scenario that just makes no sense because it's Sony and they tend to fuck these things up.
No, I disagree. Look at Into the Spider-Verse. That was a very tight movie. And
no. I'm talking about the crossover between the MCU and Sony. I'm not talking about within itself.
Yeah.
So it's Into the Spider-Verse. No, you're right. That was good and coherent and everything like that. But that's because it didn't have to worry about the MCU overall. But then you get like Spider-Man Homecoming where you get 8 years later when it was actually 5. And
Mhm.
and I mean, as I said, it's just little things like that, but it's just like it's typical. It's typical, like
Yeah.
just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I don't
Well,
know.
like I said, I'm going to be easy to please. I'm going to go to it. The fact that we're seeing things we never thought we'd see, I'm pretty happy. My predictions, I think it's going to be fun. I hope Daredevil's in it. I think that's going to be great if we do.
I hope Charlie Cox or I hope Matt Murdock is in it. I don't
Yes,
want their
I yes, yeah, not Daredevil. I don't, I backtrack. You're right. Yes, I meant Matt Murdock, not the character who plays Daredevil. Yes, I think that would be appropriate. For the courtroom stuff. If we do see Daredevil, I would expect it to be nothing more than just Daredevil's there on the top of the building
the
as
church.
Spider-Man's. Yeah, as Spider-Man swinging, or he looks up and it just some small nod, but outside that, not needed.
Yeah. No, well, but here's also the thing. Think about this. Next week is No Way Home's coming out. The rumor is that next week
Kingpin,
Kingpin is coming on, and I mean,
Hawkeye.
as I said, I keep telling people I think that this uncle character is the guy, the mustache guy, the swordsman. I don't think he's I don't think it's a Kingpin. I hope I'm wrong. I would love for Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin to come into the MCU, but it is pretty coincidental that they're rumoring that Kingpin is coming next week, and then we also have No Way Home, which is supposedly having Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in it. So it's
Well,
almost like
well, if the laugh when the uncle puts his hand on the daughter, or the little girl, like, close your eyes and just picture Vincent D'Onofrio, like that laugh. That's his laugh, dude. Like, I swear to God, like, that laugh is him.
I'll have to go
I
back
mean,
and do that. I don't. I got the voice I heard. I could have sworn it was the guy who played the swordsman. Jack, I think is his name.
mhm.
So this is Boss Man. He says, "Thing is, could they not redeem bad character? Thing is, could they not redeem bad character?" And then Zam still or I'm sorry, Santa Claus is still pushing the Kingpin Fat Man's auto repairs for Frank's sake. FFS has now been renamed to For Frank's Sake. Um, as I said, but is it a bait and switch? Is it a bait and switch? What Here's my thing. Why is Kingpin operating out of a auto repair shop? He if this is maybe a different version of the Kingpin, like okay, but like I feel like the Kingpin's a little bit bigger than from Daredevil is a little bit bigger than an auto repair shop front. I mean, he was in the news for Christ's sake. So I mean, I feel like if he are you frozen, Vance? I can't tell.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
I couldn't tell if you were
I've got
frozen.
good internet in this room. It is my spaceship room has wonderful internet, so I am great.
Well, you weren't moving. I was trying to see if you were breathing.
Dude, wouldn't that be fucked up if, like, I die on your nerd tube?
Oh, don't say no. No,
That
that would
that
not.
would be that
That
would
would be
be. Would,
fucked up.
would you promote the video? Like, that's
No.
side note.
Captain Menard's last ever.
Dude, I would. Dude, you better promote the shit out of that video. If I die on nerd, you better promote the fuck
No.
out of me. Dude, yeah.
No.
You better clip that segment and be like, "Hey, this is it right here. This is yeah, that you better." Cuz dude, what was the point of me being on your show? You
What,
don't
for you to
fucking
die on it? No.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so or Santa Claus is still trying to, Zam, you need to change your picture so that it has Santa Claus on it for these couple weeks, man, because it's throwing me off. Um, and it's
I
one of the things out of the comics. Okay, as I said, it could be a bait and switch. And as I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, you're gonna sit there and you're like, oh, oh, oh. Merry Christmas, my friend. Cheeto was wrong. And and so I mean,
Who are you channeling right there? I don't get it.
I was channeling Santa
What are you
Claus.
talking about? That isn't. What doesn't make any sense? I couldn't imagine anyone would ever say that to you, Cheeto.
Yeah, no, that would definitely, I mean, did you see Santa Claus's reaction on Critical Not Cynical this past week?
I don't watch shows like that.
Yeah, you do. Way to way to kill kayfabe. Now it's a wrestling podcast. Here we go. Thanks,
So
DH.
does that mean we got to throw it up now? Is
Oh.
that
Ow!
it's
But anyway, so back to No Way Home. I want to go back to so Boss Man, if you're still there watching, thing is, could they not redeem bad character? Which bad character are we
what
talking? Or are we talking like what bad character? Because a lot of the characters, except for like Lizard in this movie, were all of them were decent. Electro was used poorly, and was blue. Good God Almighty. But yeah, I don't know. Like, who are we talking about? That
what
okay. Uh,
which
DH says yeah, DH says for life. Zamir says that was a terrible impersonation. No, that was an impression, not an impersonation. So I don't care. I don't care.
we're not going down rabbit trails,
Yeah,
Xanta.
none.
Stop hacking my friend Zam's account, Xanta. Okay, yo.
Okay. So thing is, I know Cheeto doesn't like Tom Holland Spider. No, I didn't say that. I don't like his movies per se. Like
Yeah, you've
I'm not.
never said anything about Tom. You said his movie. The only thing you've ever said about Tom, like, is his movies are not really Spider-Man movies. They're more of like, they're taking other people, like they're like Iron Man reject villains or like substandard for other people's stuff. Like they have yet to let him grow into his own Spider-Man stuff. And it's one thing to do that in a like Avengers film because it's meant to be that way, but in your own solo film, let it be his own solo film. He's never said anything about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's an unfair assessment. That's
And
not accurate at
even though
all.
I think he's had the most consistently good films, again, I argue that Spider-Man 1 and 2 were I think, on a truth
Great.
be told, Spider-Man 1 and 2 were better movies, even
Yeah,
with Tobey Maguire in them, than Homecoming and Far From
yeah,
Home, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, no offense. I mean, here's the thing. They were better movies. I agree because I think they had better villains, and I think your villain's what sets up the hero. But I love Tom and his interaction with Ned more than I love any interaction that Toby had with his stuff. So the thing is, like, they were better movies, but I enjoyed Tom's interaction with the characters better. But I could not tell you most of what happened in Tom's because they were forgettable films. So I love the shit that happened with Ned and that chemistry. But for Toby's, I think they were better films.
All right, so
And you also
DH,
got to look at you got to look at the context of when they were released. Back when Toby's was released, there wasn't as much oversaturation of what they have now. Now, Tom's is just a drop in the bucket of what we have. You've got 4 or 5 comic book movies, sometimes 6 a year. Back then, you had what, maybe 2,
yeah,
maybe. So I mean,
uh,
you've got to look at what you have. And again, you've never said anything about Tom being a bad Spider-Man. You've never said that.
nope. Okay, so Zam says he agrees. Bossman says that I'd argue that with you. And you know what, my friend? You are welcome to bring it right here, right now, and talk with me about it because, boy, please.
Let's save that for another show because this is an optimistic, lovely talk about the optimism in the next film. Let's let's not debate.
Okay, fine. Um,
Well, we're almost
Zam,
an hour in.
I know, I know.
Let's
Uh,
let's change it for the next show. Thwips and whips. Let's do.
yeah, a kinky Spider-Man podcast.
We'll all wear dog collars. Then we can howl for a different reason.
True that. Electro and Amazing 2 look like human jellyfish.
Well, yeah, but that was a reason behind it. There were, I mean, that's a reason. I mean,
He had
to,
didn't he get killed by electric eels or something like that?
something
Or
like that. To me, it didn't really bother. The whole blue thing didn't bother me. To me, that's one of those minor nitpicks. I felt like the character was fine once they let him grow into the character. So to me, it didn't bother me. I feel like people nitpick that issue, and I find it funny that Jamie Foxx even nitpicks the issue. But to me, it didn't really bother me. It's just like my. It reminded me a lot of like my brother-in-law. He really nitpicked Michael Keaton's bat suit. He was like, it's not blue and gray. Batman in the comics is blue and gray. It's not blue and gray. It's not accurate. And I'm like, man, fuck off, dude. So I mean, the fact that it's an all black bat suit, it's like you can get caught up over those small details. So the fact that he's blue is no different than the bat suit thing. To me, it's the essence of the character. And once he became Electro, I felt like he was pretty spot on. So I don't have any problems with that. So just my thoughts.
I didn't like him being blue. Anyway,
Fair enough.
Boss Man says though Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, he to date he would probably have to be my favorite. But I mean, I know V Man, you're gonna disagree because you didn't like him as Spider-Man, correct? Not as Peter Parker. You didn't like him as Spider-Man.
I I in the Amazing Spider-Man 1, I didn't like that movie at all. I did not like him. I enjoyed him as Peter. I didn't enjoy him as Spider-Man. I felt he didn't deserve the mantle. Go to Amazing Spider-Man 2, I did. I enjoyed him as both. I didn't like the storyline with his parents. There were a lot of problems that I saw with the film, but I felt that it course corrected on a lot of things that I felt the first one did wrong. I felt he deserved a third movie, and I would have loved to have seen him continue. I'm thrilled if he does come back for this movie. I hope we see him because I felt like the guy had a lot of love for the character. I felt like it had a lot of potential that he never reached to, but that's not a problem with him. That's a problem with the writing. So I can't say who's best because it's not his fault. So I wish he had got that opportunity because when it's not your fault, it's not your fault.
Yeah. D Jose says that's what she said, which I'm guessing was something we said like 12 years ago. So sorry, late on the comment. He got made by electric eels. Yes, we know that. I felt sorry for Jamie Foxx. Me too. I did because I liked Jamie Foxx even back then. I liked Jamie Foxx, and I was excited when they announced him as Electro. When I started seeing the promo art and his design and everything, I was like, no, I'm out.
I felt bad for Jamie Foxx because he didn't even get paid for that project. Oh, that's right, he did. I don't feel bad for Jamie Foxx at all. I got a big fucking check.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, you have a point. Okay. I liked Garfield more as Spider-Man and less as Parker. That's because Zam, you don't like him as Skater Boy Parker, which I agree is a bit of a bit of a thing. But I loved Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone as Gwen and Peter. They were
That chemistry is
so
good.
together. I didn't even care much I didn't even care about the Skater Boy aspect. But yeah, no, I hated Tobey Maguire as both. So I mean, Toby was told to cry a lot. Well, that's because he's.
See, I felt with Andrew, I felt what he got right was the conflict he had about Captain Stacy, the relationship that he had with Gwen, the conflict there. He loves her, he doesn't. He has that. The struggle that he does have with Spider-Man, the want to help people, when Gwen actually does die, like he goes to that. We discussed this a couple weeks ago. Like he goes through a lot of the stress of Spider-Man, and you feel it, and you're with him, and it's great. And he does it without the blubbering face that Toby does. And again, I love the Toby movies more than I love the Andrew movies, but I can look at those scenes and go, those had more impact on me as a person, because there's more gravity to them. But I do enjoy the Toby ones more because there's they're just more enjoyable. The thing about it is there's the movies have two totally different tones, and again, it's going back to, if you look at the first Alien movie, that's a horror movie. If you go to Aliens, that's an action movie. So it's not necessarily fair to compare the two, and I feel like that's what people do with the two sets of Spider-Man movies. They're two completely different movies, universes. it's not fair to compare them because you can't. They're just not. You look at Tobey Maguire's. It's pretty bright and happy. It's like Adam West Batman. You go to Andrew Garfield's, it's more like Tim Burton's world. It's very dark and kind of gritty. Um, it's there's a lot more realism. It's like Chris Nolan's Batman, in that regard. Like there's a lot of realism. But then you get to Tom Holland's, and it very much feels like the MCU, which is not like either one of those. So to me, I don't feel like it's necessarily fair to compare the different Spider-Mans, because it's just there's different levels.
I feel like what you need to do is you need to set boundaries. So like if you're gonna come if like okay, if we're gonna do a like best scene compared to best scene for Spider-Man, like let's say okay, well let's take the best scene of Tobey's, the best scene of Andrew, and the best scene of Tom and compare them. Or if you're comparing overall, like okay, their entirety of the character in each one. Like you kind of have to set, in my opinion, like I get what you're saying, and I agree. Like there were definitely more points where I was like, oh, I love this Peter Parker with Andrew Garfield. And then with Tobey Maguire, every time he was on the screen as Peter Parker, I'm like, oh my God, kill me, please. And but you just set those boundaries. Now we could sit here and argue all the live long day whether certain scenes are good, and maybe we'll get to that on another podcast. There we go. Best scenes comparisons.
Well, the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I do want to skip a little bit forward, and I'll go back. But one of the comments that Bossman says is, "Thing is, Tom is good as the nerdy kid." I disagree. He's not a nerdy kid. He is a little awkward.
He's Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, no, a lot of it actually. I mean, he's basically like Wesley Crusher to Jean-Luc Picard. Like how many times did Tony want to go, shut up, Wesley? Like shut up, Tom, or shut up, Peter. So I disagree. He's a little bit awkward and he's a little bit but he's not. I don't feel like he's nerdy. Now maybe if you're going to compare him to a nerd in modern day, he's still a pretty cool nerd. You know what I mean? Like I don't. He doesn't scream puny Parker to me. And I mean, it would be nice if we would have seen a little, and I know they went a different direction with this Peter, but maybe if we saw a little bit of Tom before the spider bite, maybe we would have a little bit of a nerdy reference. But
you did see what Parker was like before Homecoming. You saw it on Critical Not Cynical.
Anyway. Wow, he changed nationalities and everything.
That didn't tingle your web? It didn't. No. See,
I thought you were going to go the Iron Man 2 route, where he said, "Oh yeah, he was at the Stark Expo with the Iron Man helmet on."
That wasn't him, because this was a full. You saw the costume and everything, New York and everything, in that wonderful fan film we watched, the one that Santa Claus loved. His favorite film that I'm burning on DVD for him to put in his stocking.
We're going to all send him a gift, and it's going to be that fan film on DVD.
Fuck, I've even got it recorded on Betamax for him that he can, Feel free to follow me on MySpace, guys. We're going retro on everything. So the thing is, like with Tobey, the problem that I have with Tobey, I don't geek out over the Tobey films as much as a lot of people do, and I do love them, but he never grew as a character. And the thing is, like, you look at the character in the first movie, and he's the same fucking way he is at the end of the third. He's the same goddamn character. Yeah, he doesn't change. He doesn't. I mean, the events have changed. He hasn't. He's the same nerdy, gee golly, and that's not like, if I acted that way, the same way I acted fucking 10, 15 years ago, dude, that's not real life.
Who am I? Do you really want to know? If somebody told you I was an entertaining actor in Spider-Man, somebody lied.
See, that's what you need to do. Who am I? I'm Cheeto Man. That's you, dude. You're gonna have like an orange and blue Spider-Man suit. That's you, man. That's you, dude. Anyway. But then you get to the Garfield ones, and there's so much fucking drama in those, and it's like, you guys can kind of ease back on that. Like this dude's like one bullet away from like, dude, calm down. Like, this guy's listening to Stained and Nickelback and just fucking like he's got just damn, calm down. So you get to Tom, and this guy's got kind of some realistic growth. He's gone through some shit. He's got some smiles. He's got some good support. And that was the thing with um, Andrew's Spider-Man is he didn't really have any support, not like Tom does. So he's kind of got the best of both worlds. He's got growth, he's got good support, and he's got drama. And he's not the same character necessarily that he was. He's the same person, but he's not the same character. So I look forward to seeing the changes that they come, from this movie, seeing a lot of these variations of things from other universes. I hope we get to see the characters that we know. Because again, it's going to be nostalgia, but it's also seeing what we modernly have. And then I'd like to see hope for the future. Where are we going? Because I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck going back to, Homecoming, for the next movie. I'd like to see, honestly, I'd like to see a setup for the Venom movie to fight Spider-Man. I'd like to see him come and just be like, man, I'm here. I don't know if that'll necessarily happen though, because, unless next summer is Venom versus Spider-Man, but, I'd like to see something setting that up. Something that clearly establishes all ties to the past are gone. It's clearly me.
Who am I? Do you really want to know? Anyway, okay, so we got to get through some of these comments because there's a bunch of them building up here, and I do want to get through these. Okay, so Zam says that there is too much misery in the Garfield movies, which you already touched on. Bossman says he got paid, but he looked like a good, and he's a good actor. I don't know if he's talking about Garfield or Toby.
No, he's talking about Blue Guy.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. Okay. Daniel Vance joined us. He said, hello, everybody. This was like 10 minutes ago, by the way. Samir says, hey, Daniel. Bossman said, this is the one I skipped to. Andrew Good as the snarky Spider-Man. I mean, I did like the fact that in the first Amazing Spider-Man movie that when Peter put the mask on, he became this cocky bastard only because kids that are like awkward and nerdy and get picked on, like they put a mask on and they feel like they're safe. And then he's got these superpowers. So the first thing he does is probably going to be cocky and arrogant. One thing about Peter Parker is that he wasn't, and I mean, I'm not talking like black suit Spider-Man cocky and arrogant. I'm talking about like, just, he's just being a little bit of a dick because everyone's been a dick to him. Daniel Vance says, happy holidays, Zam. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Xanta has been doing a great job as your seasonal co-host. Oh God, what did you do?
Does work. Does this voice? Oh my God, it does work.
Yeah, my son has one of those.
This thing is cool as shit. Yes, I am. And remember, Xanta is like the McRib. Limited time only.
All right, next one's all yours.
Thing is, Spider-Man is in a good place because Into the Spider-Verse was great. The games have been good. Tom Holland's films are good, despite what Cheeto said.
I don't think the movies are bad. I just they're okay. Boss man, whatever. Yeah, I hate all of Tom Holland. I hate Tom Holland as Spider-Man. There you go. You get what in the world are you doing?
It can hear you. It's interpreting the Cheeto voice. Channel your inner Cheeto.
Okay. Can it hear me? Hello. Can you all hear me? Zam says, I will send it to all my enemies. He's talking about the DVD that we're burning. DH says, damn, we're old. He is correct.
Tactical visor activated.
Oh, shit. Almost blew up my house.
I like him being appreciated by the people in Spider-Man 3. Don't know who they're talking about, but Zam says New York holding Spider-Man. New York holding parades for him and Bully thinking he is the sheriff of New York by Spider-Man 3. What? I don't know what he's talking about. If we see Garfield and Maguire's variants, I'd love to see Emma Stone as Spider Woman. I guess, but just call her Spider Gwen. Spider Woman is a completely different character. I know she's Spider Woman in her universe, but everyone calls her Spider Gwen.
Ghost Spider, I think, is what Royce calls her because it's on Spider and Friends. She's like Ghost Spider or some shit
maybe
like
she
that.
is Ghost Spider in the comics. I don't know. Okay. Vance sounds like male Shuri. Okay, great. I never said you hated them. I thought you just did. Hold on, wait.
You did. You did.
It's been good, and Tom Holland's films are good despite what Cheeto says. So if I don't think they're good, then you're probably insinuating that they're bad.
Abs. Tom Holland.
I have an ab. It's a big ab right here.
Dude, I love the shirt, by the way. Niners. I love it.
Yeah.
Baseball team.
Yeah. Best baseball team. This is what I wear. This is a shirt I wear when my work does like sports day. Like, oh yeah, the local sports team won. Wear your sports shirt tomorrow. I wear this one. And they're like, wait a minute, is that the 49ers? No, wait a minute. That's a baseball. Wait a minute. And I'm like, you guys have never heard of the Niners? Okay. Just they're not what you want to see in a Spider-Man film. Well, I'm very picky with Spider-Man anyway. I'll probably never see what I want. Bully Maguire for Frank's sake. Sure. Toby's nickname. Yes, I've seen the Bully Maguire things and they get annoying. Like, really get annoying. I think I've seen one maybe that's actually made me laugh. Okay, so now V-Man, I need you to talk for like 30 seconds while I go do something, okay?
Well,
and go.
Well, I have a Spider-Man shirt. I got this shirt back in the day. I think it was when the Andrew Garfield the second Spider-Man came out. Me and my friend had been talking about if it was going to be if Gwen was actually going to die in the movie. I didn't think they'd fucking do it, but we were like, oh, dude, it'd be great if they did. This is gonna be great. And then they stopped making those movies, and the joke was fucking on us because it was like, oh shit. And yeah, I hope Gwen. I know it's not gonna happen, but I would love for her to come back as like that Ghost Spider or Spider Gwen or whatever the fuck she's called. Like, because I think Emma Stone, she has that, like, she has the cojones to fucking pull off that character, you know, and I think she'd look great in the costume. I mean, she'd be able to do a great, you know, justice. You know, it'd be a great way to bring back, you know, the visualization of Gwen Stacy. It would be great to see that character come back. You know, it'd be great, you know, in so many ways, and that'd be a great way to have that quote unquote variant, you know, like you said, you know, to do that. But you know, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to wear this shirt or if I'm wearing my other Spider-Man shirt, the one from Spider-Man 3, of Venom suited Spider-Man. Dude, fuck yes, dude. Oh,
it doesn't work, but speaking of justice.
See, you and I need to do a Batman review wearing both of our Batman masks and being like, man,
we can have hats and we call them bats with hats.
See, that's really sad when both of our shows' names is more creative than we are. See, every time you do that, I feel like going waka waka waka, like make dad jokes and just like.
Yeah, just this one. I have to get new batteries for it, I think. Anyway.
All right. Well, hey, it's an hour and 18 minutes. I gotta head out because it's guys' night with Royce, and I hear he's asking Mom, "Where's Dad?" So I do gotta head out pretty quick. So real quick, what else? What do you want to see? What's your dying thing you want to see from this movie, man?
Tobey Maguire dying. I'm going to end it just like I started with it. I want to see Tobey Maguire die. I want some closure with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I want him dead on my doorstep.
If I'm being honest, I really think Tobey will die in this movie. I think that's going to be one of those things from a story point of view. It's one of those things to pull at our heartstrings and to make us go, "Fuck no!" You know, all of us who started on these movies are going to be like, "Oh, that's fucked up. They went there." I think you're going to get your wish for a much different reason than what the.
Yeah, they're going to try to make him a martyr, is what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, I think you're going to get your wish. But yeah, so.
All right. Well, with that all being said, Vance, thank you very much for joining me for this last Quips and Thwips before Spider-Man No Way Home comes out.
Absolutely.
Let me put it this way. This is the last Quips and Thwips that is No Way Home centered before the movie comes out.
Yep.
Everyone in the chat, even though it's a lot of our good friends, I am very appreciative that all of you joined us because you're all our good friends, believe it or not. And Bossman says Madam Web, and Daniel Vance agrees. And I agree too. I wouldn't mind seeing now a Madam Web cameo in this movie. I wouldn't mind seeing post credit scene, preferably. But yeah, I think that this movie is going to blow our socks off. And as I said, it'll probably be a lot of things. I'm just hoping it's not a dumpster fire, and I don't think it will be. I think that we're going to get a lot here. That I think we're going to get some redeeming qualities for a lot of characters that got shafted back in the day. But I also feel like we're also going to get some closure to some characters that we didn't get either.
Yep.
Like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man dead on my doorstep. I'm pushing for it, man. I'm pushing for it. But here, and see, I can't bring this up now because I wanted to bring this up earlier. But just a yes or no answer. Do you think that they are going to bring an aged Tobey Maguire in, or are they going to de-age him like they did Alfred Molina and William Dafoe?
Oh, aged.
Aged? Okay. I'd love to get into that more with you, but maybe some other time. Maybe after the movie we can talk about it, whether they did or didn't. But I kind of agree. I feel like there needs to be an aged Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I think an aged rundown. I think very much like what they did is into the Spider-Verse. Because I mean, if he's young, you're going to be happy to compare it. I think someone who's been down that road where Tom looks at him and goes, "Whoa, I don't fucking want that. I'm going to choose a different path." I think that's the only way to do this justice. And then to have him sacrifice himself, I think that's the only way to do this justice. It's just my take.
Yeah, but I agree. But then Defoe and Goblin and Ock are supposed to be like right after the events of their movie. So I'm sure it's time travel and multidimensional shenanigans. But anyway, so wrapping things up, I'm glad that V-Man, you were able to join me. We did a great discussion here, great chat comments and everything like that.
And He-Man.
And He-Man. We had He-Man in this. I think a lot of people in the chat missed that. But yeah, we were talking about He-Man for a little bit. So y'all can catch it on the rewind. But with all that being said, everybody, happy Spider-Man week. We are coming up on Spider-Man week this week. Daniel Vance says happy holidays, and I agree also. Happy holidays to everybody. And we will catch you guys in the next one. If you guys do get a second and you are not already subscribed, please go over to No Budget Productions where you can see this guy right here on his channel. He hates it when I promote, but go over and check out his channel. He has a lot of great stuff on there. If you think we have good stuff, check his stuff out. He's a great friend of the channel. Has been with us for a while now. But yeah, I'm just super stoked for this movie because I want it to be Tom Holland's movie. I want it to be this Spider-Man's movie. I don't want it to be anything else.
Yeah.
So anyway, that all being said, I'm going to stop, cock teasing everybody, and I'm actually going to end the video now. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you on the other side of the movie.
Yeah, the other side of the movie. Yeah. Later, guys.